Hey, what's up guys? My name is Alois, and in this video I'll show you how a pro player plays the Aatrox matchup. I'll cover everything I'm thinking about during my laning phase, such as wave states, jungle interaction and item purchases. If you like this type of content, please consider subscribing and leaving a like, and comment down below what matchup you would like to see next. Alright, let's dive into it. First thing, I'm going to be looking to get a ward on enemy jungle start, because this allows me to know how I should be able to play my first 4 waves, right? So let's see, I get my ward right here, and now let's just look here, right here, when the minions come. So the buffs are about to spawn. We have quite a lot of information right here, right? We know that Rengar is actually not starting this blue buff, so he's obviously going to be starting here around the red buff. And similarly, this Shaco is also starting blue buff, meaning both junglers are going to be pathing into top this game. So both of us are going to we're going to be both a bit more wary of what clear the junglers are doing. And on the first 4 waves, we should just be playing according to the pathing that both these junglers are doing. That is the first thing. Now, in this matchup, right, Aatrox has very long cooldowns in the early game. His Q cooldown does, it's around, I think, 15 or 18 seconds, somewhere around that, whereas Riven is a lot shorter. So in the early game, Riven should always be able to get prio. And I recommend getting prio in this matchup because it allows you to get your level 2 faster, meaning you're stronger on the wave. You can get all the last hits that you want, right? Because you're going to be level 2 first. Aatrox can never harass you. So all in all, it's a much better position to play in. Let's take a look at that. Now, this Aatrox doesn't come to the wave at the start, right? Let's say he was here. I would still be looking to play for prio, just because, as I say, you are stronger in the early game. Now, you might lose some health for this, but this is where our setup also really comes into play, because Aatrox is always going to be having a Doran's item plus 1 potion, right? Whereas we have 3 potions. So even if we were to trade right here and do a bit of a heavy trade, it's fine for us because we have 3 potions against 1. So I always want to be playing for the prio in the early game. Here I get it for free. Some games you won't. Still, we're playing for prio. Now, this game in specific, since both junglers are pathing top, I never want to get in a situation where I could be gankable on the 3rd or 4th wave pushing into this Aatrox, right? Because if my wave ends up being around here, I'm in a lot of trouble. So what I'm going to be doing is actually hard pushing into the Aatrox so that the wave bounces back into me, making sure that I'm never... Okay, sorry for the notifications. Let me quickly turn that off. So I never want to be in a position where I could be gankable by this Rengar in my first 4 waves. If my wave ends up stopping around right here, right, on the 3rd or 4th wave, and this Rengar comes behind me since he's pathing top, I'm in a world of trouble. So what I'll do instead this game is actually look for a 2nd wave crash, making the wave bounce back into me, and that way making sure I am never gankable. So let's see how this plays out, right? So I get the push towards the Aatrox right here. Yeah, well, he's can't really contest it, right, because it's Aatrox into Riven early game. Lovely. We get the hard push going. There we go. In the meantime, right, as I say, he's never really able to walk up for CS. This is all me right now. And the best part is he'll probably lose quite some minions underneath the turret as well, just because it's quite tricky to farm these minions with this health underneath the turret, right? Because 2 turret shots will one-shot them. So that's always a very nice part as well. Here I would have the option to invade the Rengar if he's already here. But here we spot the Rengar going top right now. So we know he's going to be on wolves next. That's all good. We see Shaco just finish his wolves as well. So again, what we want to do with this wave is actually make it bounce into us so that we are never gankable, but the Aatrox can become gankable, right? As it's bouncing into us. We're never forced to walk up for last hit, but Aatrox is. So again, here, I do not want to touch this wave as I don't want it to push into the Aatrox, right? So we're just leaving it here. We're allowing it to push into us. Just looking for last hits. He uses Q1 plus Q2, all good. One core thing to notice here is Aatrox never uses Q3 there. If you're not familiar with Aatrox's cooldowns, if he uses Q1 and then lets his Q run out, it refunds much faster. Similarly, if he uses Q1 plus Q2, right, and never uses his Q3, again, the cooldown comes back much faster. So here he's only used 2 Qs, meaning his Q cooldown will be relatively faster. Alright, it's just pushing into us. Now I think the Aatrox did a very nice combo here, right? He did W into Q1. He just caught me when I tried to dash out, and yeah, he actually punished me quite hard. But again here, I'm never really in trouble here. The wave's just pushing into me. I'm never gankable. So yeah, we're fine here. Now, I see this Aatrox is walking up quite far, right? So in my mind here, I'm a bit scared because I think this Rengar could be in this push. So I'm walking away here. We spot the Shaker walks in. I don't see any Rengar. Honestly, this guy is just, yeah, playing it bad here. He's not respecting my jungle. He gets punished, even loses his flash and dies. Now, let's take a look at this wave, right? Since he's playing with Flash Ignite, I can decide to either hard push this and reset or let it push into me, right? Both decisions are fine here. If this Aatrox was running TP, I would always have to recall here. But since he's running Ignite, I can just look to push it out, which is what I decide to do. So, we get the push out here. And now let's look at my gold as well, what I'm recalling. Alright, let's talk about this item purchase, right? What would you purchase here? I'd say you have 3 options. You can go for a pickaxe, right? You could go for Caulfields, or alternatively, you could go for D-Blade, a longsword, sell your potion, get refillable. Whenever I'm recalling around 800 to 900 gold in matchups like these, I much prefer to get a D-Blade on my first recall, just because it allows you to, yeah, stat check a bit better in lane. You have a bit extra health, right? You're a bit stronger, which is very nice. So, now, let's walk back to lane. First thing you'll notice is that I have an item lead, right? He has 1 longsword. I have 2 longswords plus a D-Blade, right? So I have the item lead. Now, I also have a flash lead, so I could probably look to set up a kill on the Aatrox here, right? If we look at the wave, it's pushing into me right now, which is obviously good for me, because whenever it's pushing into me, he's always going to be forced to walk up for any last hit that he wants to take. So here, I want this wave to always push into me, but I also want to make sure that this wave is not big enough so that he could get the crash, right? I want him to stay in a tough lane position. So my goal here is to thin out the wave, but not thin it out too much so that it pushes back into him. And in the meantime, also try and see if I can get a small trade into him that would lead me to getting an all-in, right? So I'm delaying my Q here, get in, get his bone plating, thin out the wave a little bit, and there we go. That's the first trade. Now he uses Q1 plus EQ2. I immediately reply with dashing forward, so I block the damage, and there we go. We got a pretty good trade, and he's used most of his cooldown right now, right? He's used Q1, Q2, E, and W, so he only has Q3, meaning I have all the space here, and I'm not going to prioritize my Q for a trade. I'm actually just going to prioritize this to thin out the wave here, so that, again, this wave keeps pushing into me, but not too much. There we go, thin out the wave, use the W attack on the cannon. Come on, guys, we need the cannon. And there we go, right? So now this wave is still pushing into me. This Aatrox is going to be forced to walk up for last hits, but we thin it out in a good state. We're both level 5, and I even got a better trade out of him, right? So now the lane is looking very good for me. Get another auto attack trade. Okay, he uses Q1 plus Q2 and E again. So here, you can see a very nice trick here. My Conqueror stacks are about to run out, right? What you can actually do is press Ignite to keep Conqueror stacks and also gain 1 Conqueror stack. That allows me to get the movement speed to gap close to him. Then I flash, I get my cooldowns back, and I kill him again. And yeah, the lane phase is over here, right? This guy cannot play anymore. This wave is bouncing into me. It's a perma freeze. I was already in the lead. Now I'm even higher in the lead. This lane phase is just over right here. All right. Now let's dive into another one. Now, I want to show the matchup one more time, but this time I want to see how we should be able to get ahead in the matchup when we don't get any kills in the early game, right? Because last matchup we had quite some kills in the early game, allowing us to get a lead very early on. And this time I want to show you how you can still get a lead even though you don't kill the Aatrox in the early game. First thing we're going to be trying to do is see where this enemy jungle is starting. And we do that by getting a ward on his rep buff. So I like to do this pathing on blue side, just over the Baron Pit. Usually you don't get punished, but this time around I actually do get punished. I get the ward down, but I get chunked for half my HP and I'm forced to use a potion. Which sucks quite a lot, obviously, right? Not the end of the world, but yeah, that happens. But for that, we at least now know that this Grave is starting rep buff. And that the Grave is going to be pathing from top to bot, right? Starting red. And this Rek'Sai is going to be pathing from bot to top. So again, it's a good spot for us. And we're going to be doing the same thing, which is looking to push in the early game, right? So there you go. We get the push in. We start pushing. And he has D shield plus 1 potion. So that's all good. sidestep the Q, get his bone plating. Very nice. And just keep control of the wave. So yeah, we don't really have to be scared of the Graves here. I get my level 2. I instantly look to punish, right? Instantly skill W, get all my auto attacks in between, and take a pretty nice trade. It sucks that he gets his very long range auto attack at the end, but still this is a very nice trade for us. And we get the crash here. Alright. So now, this Grave should be around here, right? Similar to this Rek'Sai. Or maybe still on Raptor, somewhere around there, right? We have a general idea where this Grave should be at right now. With this Rek'Sai coming top, we have two options. We either let this bounce into us, or we look to play for a crash. Now, since I know that this Grace is pathing bot, and we should not really have that much kill pressure on this guy, I'm just gonna look to start pushing again. So let's see. Slow push, get another small trade. And the reason I'm able to force this trade again is because I'm going to be getting my level 3 faster here, right? If I kill one more minion, I get my level 3. He needs to kill these two, he needs to kill one full HP minion here to get the level 3. So here, I feel confident going for this trade. And again, that's the advantage you get from pushing, right? You're going to get your level 2 fast. You're going to get your level 3 first. And that way, it leaves it harder for him to look for any trade option, because let's say he extended to trade with me here, I would do W, auto attack his mean, get level 3, and he'd take a very bad trade. So he did a smart thing by backing off here, right? So I get a priority here. Now on this frame, the only thing I'm looking at right now is actually this minion wave right here, right? I don't want to crash on the third wave. It's not going to give me the best purchase, as you'll see right here, right? 350 gold. If I get this all, I might get 500, maybe 600, right? Not the best purchase. So here my goal is to actually slow push this wave and hard crash on this wave that's going to come up right here. So that's my goal right here. So there we go, we're slow pushing. Alright, he's used Q1 plus Q2, meaning that I can actually trade into him right now, right? But he lands everything. So he lands this Q3, W, and passive auto attack, but it's actually fine. It's an equal health trade. I don't mind it that much. In the end, I still have the bigger wave here. He has very long cooldowns, and the only goal I had here is to get in the wave. So that's still my goal. The wave is here now. Let's see if we can get the crash. So, he's still in lethal range, right? I could maybe kill him, but he's also playing cautiously. He backs off immediately, and now we're just going to play for the wave. Perfect. We get it in. Now the Aatrox has to make a decision, right? Since he's playing Flash Ignite, he has two options. He either has to recall immediately, or he's going to try and push this wave. But since I've instantly pressed my recall and I'm running back already, it is actually quite tricky for this Aatrox to try and get in this wave with, you know, fast enough before I'm back into lane and able to set up a freeze. I think if he hard pushes this right now, I'm probably back in time enough to catch this wave and set up a freeze. So since that is the case, I think Aatrox makes a smart decision here and recalls. But even then, it's a good, you know, position for me, because this Aatrox right now has a problem as this wave is bouncing into me. Meaning he will lose more minions than I am losing right now, as obviously this next wave is going to come faster to his minions to support him, killing all my minions, with most of his minions will still stay alive. So since this is the case, I'm also looking to do a scuttle, and I come back to a very nice lane phase where this is pushing into me. Again, when it pushes into me, I am never really gankable. I do leave I leave a ward on a very weird spot, but right, we're 27 to 18 CS, we're already in quite a lead, and I still have to catch so many more minions than him, right? So I'm in a very happy spot here. And this is all because Riven just wins into the Aatrox in the early game. So I'm going to try and thin out the wave so that we can maybe look to gank this guy, but the wave is already so big because I chose to go for the scuttle instead. So now the wave is actually too big for me to hold, and I just let it crash. This Rek'Sai wants to look for a gank here. I ping him away simply because his wave is just too big, right? We can't really hold this. Yeah, maybe I could use more abilities here to try and thin out the wave. But he has always abilities up as well. I would get punished really hard, right? So yeah, I'm just forced to let this crash, and that's all good. So nothing really happens. We're just more in a still game here. But it's fine because I'm ahead in CS, right? And I can always expand that. So honestly, I'm happy here. Trying to get all the CS on the turret. Alright. Now this Rek'Sai is looking for a gank. I think the angle doesn't really work like this. So yeah, nothing really happens here. So now what is my goal, right? Honestly, not much. I want to probably see if I can get a recall when I have like maybe enough gold for my pickaxe or maybe even a bigger purchase. But other than that, I don't think much is going to happen here. And I just want to make sure that I'm farming as efficiently as I can, as I'm already ahead. So that's what's going through my mind right now. So he used Q1, Q2. I'm probably going to look to trade. Alright, he's used all of them right now. Okay, no trade. He backs off. All good. I keep the wave here. I see that my jungle right now... So I see Graves here. So I guess my ward ended up spotting the Graves here in a very weird spot. But I also know that my Rek'Sai is always going to be going bot here because he's just clearing his wolves. And this camp is up, this camp is up. Nothing is good for him here. So I know that I have to play more on the backside of the lane here because my jungle is bot and the jungle stop, right? So we're just playing more to play safe here. And this guy is walking into my lane. I have that information, so we're just playing safe. And that's that. Now, I do want to take a look at this trade pattern with you guys. So, he's using... whenever you're playing a melee champion, or into a melee champion rather, as Riven, you can always come into melee range with them, W, auto Q, and then just EQ out. And there's no hard punish they can do into that, right? As you can see, I don't really get punished, and I do a small trade, and that's perfect. I can always do that trade pattern. Here, I'm playing a bit limits, trying to see if I can, you know, fake that my jungler is here. He's obviously trying to bait me. I'm acting as if I'm falling for the bait, but I'm just doing a small trade and instantly receiving, right? And this way, I'm just wasting some of the Graves time. That's the only thing I'm doing here, right? I know that he's in my lane, and I'm just trying to waste his time a little bit. That's all good. Wasted the Graves time. Good job. Alright, this is just crashing. Now, I of course, need to make sure that I never get chunked enough so that they could dive me. But that's not the case here, so yeah, we're all happy. Maybe they shared some XP as well, right? So all is good for me here. Alright. So now, I'm in the range where I could probably get a pretty good purchase, right? 1100 is the Iron Spike Whip. So here, what's going through my mind is I want to push this wave as fast as possible, because the faster I push the wave here and recall, the faster I'm also going to be back at this wave and lose minimal, right? So I'm going to be farming it as efficient as possible with the turret shots, taking the entire wave, and instantly recalling, because I have enough gold for my Iron Spike Whip. So now I recall, I reset. The Aatrox actually decided to stay. He could have opted to recall, he stayed. That's all good. So now he's going to try and hard push this, but I should lose minimal. So let's see what we end up losing. So we've only lost... Okay, so we've lost 3 minions, right? But only 1 or 2 minions worth of XP. That's all good. The Aatrox is in base right now. I know this Scuttle is still here. I know Grace is bot. So we have a few options, right? We know this Aatrox is probably just in base right now and is going to start walking back. So we could catch this, hard push next, and look for Scuttle, which is a safe play. And alternatively, since I know that this Grace is bot, I could also catch this, hard push this wave right here, and then look to proxy. Because, as I said, Graves is bot, so they can't really stop me from proxying. And Aatrox is going to be forced to receive this wave under his turret, right? So, let's see what we end up doing. I hard push the wave. And then... Alright. Yeah, I'm going to look to proxy. Since, I mean, I see Graves here, Blitzcrank Echo here, I feel pretty safe doing this. Now, I think, yeah, the wave becomes very awkward, it gets pulled. And I end up in quite a tricky scenario right here. I thought they would path bot, but they actually all came top. So right here I get collapsed by a random Twitch. And then here I get collapsed by the Blitzcrank and the Echo. But it's all fine, because I proxied the wave. So even though I died, I lose barely anything, right? I just die, I give them some gold, but it's all good. So now I'm 72 CS to 55 CS. I'm honestly in a very good spot. I just get the Ruby Crystal here for some extra health so that they can stat check the Aatrox. And that's all that's going on here. So that's all good. I'm running back here. I do end up losing a full wave for that. But I'll be able to compensate. Because again, where did the Aatrox recall? We see him last here, right? So right now, after this wave, we know this Aatrox is going to be resetting. Meaning, he is never back in lane right now. And that gives me the opportunity to fully hard push this wave. And since I know my Rek'Sai is bot, this is where I'm eyeing it right now. So I can hard push this wave. Maybe take some jungle camps and then collect the wave again. So, let's see what we do. We hard push the wave. There you go. Riven has extremely fast wave push, right? We push the wave. We don't have to stay here. I'm checking if I were to maybe lose what's it called? A turret plate. I don't. Other thing to talk about here. I have no idea where Graves is on the map, right? And since I have no idea, I also opt to not proxy because I could be getting collapsed on. So here, I just go for the more safer approach and I go for my jungle camps here. So Aatrox hard pushes the wave, that's all good. And the wave's coming back into me. I'm doing the Gromp, and whilst I'm doing the Gromp, he's pushing another wave. And there we go, we just received the wave. So for all that, that's all good. Alright, we loop around. Yeah, we're gonna get a gank here. How I set this up is I instantly ignite to movement speed for my abilities as well. Stun him, cancels sustain, and there we go. We get a kill. Lovely. Alright. We get it in. We push this as well. We get a plate. We get our Gore Drinker. So now we're 10 CS per minute, right? He is level 8, 77 CS. I'm level 9 already. We're quite far ahead. And even though this matchup was relatively even, right? Not much happened. We just farmed very efficient. We made conscious decisions regarding camps and our waves. And that way we never really fell behind. And from here on, the game's just very easy to play, right? So yeah, that's it for me.